all have gaps in our knowledge, and I'm sure over the years, all of us, one way or another, have made a bit of a boo-boo because of said gap in said knowledge, whether it's about geography or anything else. I know I certainly have in the course of my career and before it when I was in education. So, at a human level, we can't be too hard on Chris Philp about the mistake he made. Or the thing that he revealed, I think, the gap in his knowledge that he revealed at Question Time yesterday, the BBC programme Question Time. But I think we can be a bit tougher on him and on the government more generally when it comes to what it reveals about their position on both the Rwanda plan and more generally about the quality of the minds in charge at the moment. It does behove people who have power to know stuff and to find things out when they're key to the things that they are going to be talking about. I mean, it's not unlike journalism. You can't know everything. You can be an expert in X, but you will not be an expert in Y. And if you're asked about Y, and you're likely to be asked about Y, you should do a bit of research about why. And I think that's where we can be a bit tougher on Chris Philp and on the government more generally, because if you are going to wheel people out as the man or woman to defend a really controversial policy, controversial not just within our borders, but controversial internationally as well, if you're going to be wheeled out to be that man or that woman, you really should know your onions. Take a listen to this.
What's his name, Chris?
This is Chris, yes.
Yeah, Chris.
Chris Philp.
I come from a neighbouring country called Congo, if you know geographically, that is located right next door to Rwanda. And right now in Goma, there's a genocide going on, and there's such a big conflict going on with people from Rwanda. So had my family members come from Goma on a crossing right now, would they then be sent back to the country that they're supposedly warring, Rwanda? Does that make any sense to you?
No, I think there's an exclusion on people from Rwanda being sent to Rwanda.
They're not from Rwanda, they're from Congo.
They're from Congo.
They're supposedly
from Congo.
They're supposedly warring these people from Rwanda. Are they then going to be sent to Rwanda if they came here on a crossing?
From
Congo? Yeah.
Would people be sent from... Well, I mean, Rwanda is a different country of Congo, isn't it? It's a different country.
Yes.
It is.
Yes. Definitely. You're saying if they come from a war zone in Congo, would they then be sent to Rwanda?
Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. And actually some of the stuff that the audience member was putting to Chris Philp was really key, really important stuff. And it reminded me, or brought back to my mind, a conversation I had in a taxi actually in Liverpool, just around the beginning of the pandemic. And it was the taxi driver was from DRC, Democratic Republic of Congo, formerly called Zaire. And he once he knew I was a journalist, he asked me what I did for a living, and we got chatting, and he started to, in the course of the journey, weep as he told me about his journey from DRC to Liverpool, to Britain, for seeking asylum, himself, his wife, and 3 young children. But they had to come away knowing that their oldest son, their oldest child, had been abducted and forced into being a soldier, a child soldier. And he wanted to stay, and his wife insisted that they all go and save the other children, and that they could, from an international perspective, then try and find their other boy. And this poor man was weeping as he was telling me this story. But thankfully, the end was a happy one, in as much as they did, through the International Red Cross and others, find their 16-year-old boy, 17 I think he was by the time they found him. And he was now with them in Liverpool and had a job at Everton Football Club, as I recall him telling me. But he was so heartbroken about what was happening in his country. And it hasn't really stopped, as that audience member was saying, and Rwanda has been absolutely key in supporting some of the groups, the rebel groups, the M23 group is most notable among them, who've been insurgent and brutally violent to men, women, children, raping women, abducting people, recruiting supposedly child soldiers into their rebel army. Brutal stuff. And Chris Philp should know this. He should know this. And he should know the relationship between Rwanda and the DRC.